What is going on? Bar Down Breakdown episode 154. And we're joined by our homie up in Edmonton, Alberta, Jeremy from the great Nicolas Rage. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. How's it going, Mikey? Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
That intro track is a bop, by the way. That was insane.
So that's our homies in Keep Flying. They sent
Awesome.
us over some of their instrumentals, and we had to throw it in there. So,
dude, it's like a horn ensemble and punk music. Like that went well together. That was awesome. I was hyped.
Yeah, dude. So I guess you got to go check out Keep Flying because
Keep Flying.
Dude, they're Journeyman. I'm not sure if you are familiar with JJR. It's his passion project and his band.
Crazy.
And he's well known in the scene, and he's killing it with that band, man. They're awesome.
I love it. I think that's one of my favorite parts about, like, I've checked out the podcast before, and I'm such a hermit. Sorry, not hobbit. I'm both. But I'm such a hermit when it comes to like the scene nowadays. Like I feel like I don't listen to as much music as I should. And you guys throw some names out, and then I go check them out in a media. I'm like, this is so good. So I'll double check. Keep Flying, and I'll throw those guys on a playlist here for me.
Hell
that's
yeah,
awesome.
Hell
cool,
yeah,
man. Thank you.
So tell me, man, what's going on in Edmonton right now? I'm sure you guys are just getting blanketed with snow.
we did a little bit last night, but it's just freezing. I think we had like 2 weeks of like -40 weather, and it was hell. And it got warm for like 3 days, so that was nice. And then it went right back to like -30 something. And yesterday, actually, I had a flat tire, and I had to go like pump air into my tire in -38 with no gloves. So like, my hands were just like burning the whole time. But that's pretty much Edmonton in a nutshell. That's why we're all depressed and we write sad punk music.
So -38, like I've been in like negatives, but like maybe -5 is the coldest, but -38, that's unreal, dude.
It's a different beast. It's like, yeah, like I walk outside, my mustache is frozen instantly. Like it hurts and burns when I breathe in my nose, but you get used to it kind of, but you also never stop hating it. It's one of those things.
Touche. Well, we're not a weather podcast. I every once in a while just like to know what it's like around different parts of the world and country, because I'm in North Carolina and Tom's in Florida, so we don't get temperatures like that.
Yeah, luckily, I wish, man. But yeah, it's interesting always to hear like how it's people ask us Canadians what it's like here all the time. It's always the same answer. It sucks. Not all the time, but.
So, Jeremy, let's talk Nicolas Rage before we talk some hockey, just because you guys got a bunch of new music on the horizon, and definitely want to give you the time to talk about it. But before we talk about the new music that you guys have planned to come out, let's just talk about the formation, because honestly, I thought maybe Calling All Captains was the only band in Edmonton, Alberta. So it's cool to hear that there's another band kicking it and killing it in Edmonton. So tell me about the formation of Nicolas Rage.
Edmonton's actually in Canada one of my favorite places. I know it's obvious I'm from here, but like we've toured all across Canada, and we've played with the band of those cities, like in Winnipeg and Vancouver. And not to like, I love the cities. Everywhere in Canada is awesome, but there was just something different about Edmonton in the punk scene here. It's always full. It's always a fun time. The crowd knows all the words to your songs somehow, and you're like, how does this happen? So Edmonton's always been like that. Me, Tim Wilson, and Mark Wojcicki's the bass player in our band. We've been playing in bands since we were like 16, just because it's always been around in Edmonton. And Tim and I went to McLeod University, and we went there for the music diploma, because I was like, okay, I love music. I practice it all the time and I still suck. So I need to figure this out, get better. And me and Tim both met there, and we knew each other from the scene, because he played in a band called Greater Than Giants, which was pretty big, in the early 2000s in Edmonton. And I think in the second year, he's like, let's make a punk band. And I said, no. I was like, I'm just going to focus on some other stuff. But eventually I came around, and we ended up starting the band. at the time it was a couple other members too who also went to university with us. And yeah, so we just started it, and we released a couple singles, and people actually started liking it, and it just kept steamrolling from there. But yeah, it's not just captains here. I love those boys. We do share a jam space though. So
And you share members. So
yeah, and we share members too. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess let's talk about that, since it came up. So you mentioned Tim, who's also in Calling All Captains.
Mm-hmm.
So which one came first? Because I totally don't know.
Rage. So Tim and I started Rage in about a year in. I think Captains. I think their lead singer left to pursue something, and then their drummer, which is Luke, really talented guy, he ended up jumping on vocals. I kind of messaged them because I was like, maybe I would sing for them, but at the same time I just started Rage, so I didn't end up showing up to a tryout. But I think they ended up going with Luke, and then they Tim got in contact with them, I think, and then Tim joined the band, and ever since then it's been Tim in two bands, and it's been fun. We're all kind of learning and helping each other grow, and we love those dudes. They love us. It's like sharing a family member, kind of. It's awesome.
Yeah. Shout out Nick. Nick has been on the show before. He's our homie. He's actually been on our show twice. So cool to
nice.
To
I actually watched that episode.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess
it's a hardworking band. Yeah.
When you have a member that's in two bands, when you guys first were doing this, both bands weren't signed. And then within a couple of months, maybe even a couple of years, now both of those bands are signed. And it's kind of cool to think that Tim's in a band that's on Equal Vision, and then also in a band that's on Revival Recording. So how has that been splitting him between the two projects when, now being on a label, there's more responsibility, more work that goes along with it. So how is he stretching his time?
Not gonna lie, at the beginning we were all kind of worried, like, that's gonna be a lot. Like we're all really good friends with boys and captains, and like we knew they were gonna get signed soon. And then when Tim signed it, I was like, dude, just give us like a year. We'll get signed too, man. At first I was a little worried, but he promised, this is still like number one. I'm going to be giving like 200% to both projects. Right. So it ended up working. Tim's a professional. We're all kind of like to think of ourselves as professionals at this point. And he stuck to his word. Like, it's been great. We try to limit as much workload on him. Like, we're like, hey, write your parts and play the drums. And, if we ever need help, he helps out with a lot of social media as well. But for the most part, he's been killing it. He's been doing really good. Same with captains. Like, it's both bands have just been able to continue on. Like, there's never been situations where it's been like, hard. There's been moments where, like, if he has to go on a tour of captains, and then it's like, okay, we have to plan around that. I mean, it's not a huge deal. There hasn't been a situation where we've been touring at the same time. So we've been lucking out there. And even if we did, both bands have like backup guys that can come on tour with us. So we got some AHL farm teams.
That was going to be my next question, because, as knock on wood, hopefully things get better again in the spring and in the summer. I'm sure captains is going to be hitting the road. I'm sure you guys are itching to get out on the road, so you kind of already answered the question, but you got some guys in the farm system ready to jump up. I like that.
It's good.
I thought maybe Tim was the only drummer in Edmonton, and that's why you guys are just passing him around.
Yeah, he's the only one. No,
he's the only one. He's got to be in every band in Edmonton.
No, he's a very driven man. He throws himself into things, and he does it well, and that's who he is. And we can't expect him to be any different, right? We love the guy for who he is, and he's killing it. Like, that's super cool. How many people can say they're in two signed freaking bands? Like, not a lot of people can say they're in one. So
yeah, awesome. That's freaking awesome. Absolutely. Yeah. So I guess, since we're talking labels, you guys are linked up with Revival, a label out of Raleigh, North Carolina, which is very far away from Edmonton. So how did that even happen?
I have no idea. I think we were on tour once, and we just released. We had like 2 songs that we released like back to back, and it was "Dirty Talk" and "Laugh" on our Spotify, and like "Laugh" just for us like little guys, like "Laugh" blew up considering like what our numbers were like 10,000 on songs, and but "Laugh" was like in the first couple days up there, and then it got on some really big playlists, Crash Course on Spotify, New Punk Tracks, Pop Punk's Not Dead, and everything from there just steamrolled. I felt like there's people contacting us and left, right, and center. And out of nowhere, this guy named Kevin from he said he was the A&R for a label called Revival Recordings, and we're like, it's probably just another scam, just whatever. Right? And we're on tour, we're just like worrying about so many other things. But you know, he kept saying like, hey guys, like I really really dig it. And he was actually offering a distribution situation, and I don't know, we get talking, and he seemed like a likable dude. We gave him a phone call just to check it out, and it just vibed so well. Like we bantered really well. He had such a good presence to him, and like he really was like a fan of the music. He's like, I love what you guys are doing so far, and we just want to be a part of it. And usually you can tell if one of those things is real because it's a percentage based thing. It's not like, hey, give us $8,000 and we'll do something for you, right? But no. And then he said, we were kind of talking like, well, if you guys are a label, we're not really interested in like distribution. We want a little bit more. We're trying to get on a label at this point. We're all broke musicians, been doing this our whole lives, and I think financially it's something we're looking for the help because we know we got the music and we want to put it out. So he gave us a call back, and it was with I think Sean from Alisana, and he ended up saying, hey, we want to welcome you guys in if you guys are for it. And yeah, we just kind of jumped on it. We did some negotiating for a while, and it was perfect. And ever since, Revival's been unreal. They're such a good small group of people that really want to help, and they do their best, and we're learning a lot from them, and they're learning and they're doing everything they can to help all their bands. Yeah, I'm really happy it happened.
So what year was this, if you don't mind me asking?
That's a good question. Like the pandemic has messed me up. It was like right before the pandemic. So 2019, we were talking with them, and I think we signed in 2020. But it was so funny because it was like I was talking to my parents about it. I was like, oh my God, like I finally get a record deal and the world ends. Like it's like one of those feelings. But it was actually kind of cool because it gave us a little more time, and that's like such a big pressure situation for a young band. Like we've only been around since 2017, so it was only a couple years, and the label reached out to us. So we're still figuring out our branding and figuring out like the sound that we have, right? But it really gave us time to sit back in the studio, learn how to demo our music properly. We brought Mark Wojcicki in, our bass player, and he's he does like producing, so that helped a lot. It really lit a fire under my ass too, and I started to learn how to do demos, record myself, and I've been getting better and better ever since. But I don't think that ever would have really happened unless I was bored sitting in my house and given some more time to take some pressure off of the situation. And I think we ended up writing 5 of the best tunes that we could have, and yeah, it was a good situation all in all, even though the world was suffering and it was hard to actually go out in the world and do something about it, but that time was good.
So you guys self-produced and mixed and everything this EP?
No, actually, like he's a producer, but he does more like pop orientated stuff, and it's just the fact that we could do like really well like polished demos. Like we can actually give a producer like, this is how it should sound, how we want it to sound, make it better. Right? Gotcha. Make it sound quality better. So that's been like really good. But we actually work with a guy from Edmonton. His name's James Banks. He's from Audio Banks, actually. Really talented guy. He was on the come up too. He only did like a few bands before us, but one thing he did was his own band. And there's actually 3 bands in Edmonton. Forrester is like my favorite band of like all time. I look up to those guys. It's super weird because they're my friends, but the way they write music is so good. I suggest you check them out if you're looking for new tunes. Forrester. But their drummer is actually the producer, and he did their whole album. And I remember listening to that and be like, this is fucking awesome. So we ended up going with someone named Greg Wright, who kind of does a lot of the pop punk music in Edmonton, and he's awesome too, very good. we only paid him like $600 on our first 2 tunes. Like he did it as a homie charge. But then after that, I was like, I don't think we can afford Greg. James was coming up and he gave us a nice deal. And that's what we recorded Laugh and Dirty Talk with. And he did such a great job and he gave us the deal. And we wanted to help him get his name out there too. So once we got signed and once we knew we had a budget, we were like, let's go back to James. Let's make sure James gets some money for helping us out. And he did so good. He's like a 5th member in the band. Like, you know, we send him demos back and forth and he's so honest and he helps really shape the songs. So, yeah, it's been great.
And 3 of those singles are out on Spotify right now, right?
Yep.
And all streaming platforms.
Yeah.
So I think you hinted that there's going to be 5 tracks on Personal Party. Is that correct?
Yes. There's going to be 2 more tracks coming out. We'll have 1 focus track with the EP releasing. But yeah, there'll be 5 songs plus the 3 songs that are already out, kind of all just in the same area. We're supposed to maybe be releasing a music video for Naked Grape, but we're kind of still holding off. We want to just wait for the right moment to get that out. But I'm really excited to share that. That was so much fun. I ended up directing and getting like the whole video concept done. And that was the first time it felt like the first video we released. I was all over the place. Never made a music video in my life. And it kind of seemed that way. I don't know if you've seen the Poison Ivy music video at all, but that was our first single. And yeah, I tried to do too much, but I still love it. I still enjoy it. And the director we had at the time, he like, you know, polished it, made it really good. But this next video, I'm pretty proud of it. We ended up working really hard on it. I made like a simple concept and it just came together so easily. So really excited to release that. Should be
cool.
soon.
Hell yeah. So talking Personal Party, it's out on March 11th, right?
Yep. March 11th. And right now we have pre-orders up in our link in our bio on all our platforms, same with Revival. And you can go on there and buy some bundles. We have a t-shirt and a crew neck that we can that we're selling with it. The crew neck and the t-shirt design are actually made by Mark too. That's another thing. We're all trying to learn so many things and get better at what we're doing. And Mark actually took on some visual design and work like that. So he actually made the elephant logo that we have in our logo, and he made all the album artwork. So, hi Mark on Instagram if you want to check him out. The dude's so talented. He's like, okay, I'll try. He sends us something. I'm like, that is amazing. That's so good. I don't know how you do that, but no, he made all the artwork too. But yeah, it's been crazy learning all these small we're all just musicians, but we're trying to be more than that. And, you know, as a company, we want to try to outsource as little as possible and just make it, you know, make more skills, I guess.
Dude, got to respect that because, you know, unfortunately, bands are expected to do way more than just play music these days. Like you really have to be your own like marketing manager. You have to come up with your own merch designs and concepts and things like that. Like it's definitely we like to say it's easier because like you guys have cell phones that have GPS when you have to tour, but then all the other stuff like that you have to take on, like I'm sure there's someone in the band that has to be like the TikTok guy and like doing those. Is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
Man.
Yeah.
But at least you're doing it because there's some bands that aren't on there yet. And I'm like, why are you not on TikTok yet? Like you have to be on that platform, even though like you might not get results right away. You know, the videos can just like blow up. Pop off like months or weeks after they go up. So like you kind of just got to put them out maybe even daily or a couple of weeks to just hope that one goes viral. Yeah,
there's I've been following a lot of like inspirational TikToks that are like kind of helping you guide, like kind of guru stuff. And I started video editing, so that's one of the new things I'm learning how to do. I am brutal at it. It's like I get so frustrated. I don't know why, but it's so hard to do for me. But I actually ended up putting out one recently that I finally got done, and I think I'm going to get better and better at it. But I think one thing they're saying, a lot of these people, is like that 6-month process, like post every day for 6 months. But before you do, kind of strategize it a little bit, like find something you enjoy talking about and then like make like a main source of content and make sure you can kind of weave off of that content with like a bunch of separate little videos kind of idea. So that's constantly rolling the content. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that properly and give something of value to the people other than the music. And it's hard. I understand why bands haven't done it yet, because they open the phone like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. So there is a bit of preparation, and that's kind of the phase I'm in right now. And we'll see how it goes once it's all prepped and ready to go.
Yeah, it also seems that like bands are kind of following a formula, like they're following the other bands that are blowing up, and then it's kind of
yeah, it's kind of,
I don't want to say like copying, but it's at the same time like if there's a trend, you got to kind of go with the trend, and then that's your chance.
I think it's kind of like businesses. So like you're trying to make a better product than another business. So like if someone keeps doing like lists, like say like the 5 top songs out this week, blah blah blah. There's like a bunch of people that do that, but like you want to try to make that video. It's still copying, but at the same time you put your own flair on it. And some people are going to like you more than other people, your personality. So it's like find something you feel like you can do well and then go with it. And yeah, copying people's good, just do it in your own way, kind of idea. So but it's cool.
But it's also cool to see how that can transfer into like real gains for a band. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the band Loveless.
Yeah.
So right now they're blowing up on TikTok, but then that transferred to what, you know, their single that came out, or their cover that came out a little over a week ago. It's now on like legit Billboard charts. Like that's how crazy the song is blown up. And it's cool to see because that band's not signed right now. They're doing it all themselves, and they're getting a lot of attention.
That's awesome. I think Jack Keys, there's a guy I watched like I think a year ago. It was just a singer-songwriter, kind of punky, kind of R&B. He had like a shaved head, like just down the center. And I was like, this guy looks nuts. And he starts singing. Like, that's beautiful. The lyrics are amazing. Fast forward like a year later, he's on the cover of Pop Punk's, or I think All New Punk. I can't remember which one it is, but he's with Travis Barker. Travis Barker's helping him. Like, what? TikTok did that for this guy, you know, like crazy stuff like that can happen. And it's like, why not use it? It's a resource, and don't worry about failing. Just keep going, right? You can't worry about it.
Yeah, it brings me back to when I was discovering alternative music when I was in high school. You know, this is going back to 2001 to 2005. Like, I'm getting old. And
me too.
there was this website that was very popular called Pure Volume, and they would just have a list, like a top 5 like song list every single day, and it would like change. And I remember the Spill Canvas. Like, I found the Spill Canvas on that list, and so many other people did. And now you fast forward 20 something years, and that band is still around, still relevant, just signed with Pure Noise Records. And it's like because of that, like, and there's crazy. So many MySpace bands like that are still very successful because of MySpace. So crazy. Like it's kind of the day and age, man. Like, you know, the bands like Newfound Glory and, you know, Sugar Cult and those kinds of pop punk bands, they got their break because they were on teen movies.
Yeah.
But, you know, teen movies don't really exist anymore, and they're not playing this kind of music. So there's got to be another way to get out there. And it seems like TikTok's the preferred platform.
It is. And it's just all the social media tools we have now. It is very saturated now, and everyone's trying to do the same thing. But it's a gift and a curse at the same time. And you got to kind of learn to adapt. Just the way it is, and it's going to be different in 10 years. It's just going to always be different, but you know, the same thing, it stays the same, where it's like pop punk music is still alive. It's still relevant. It's still going to come in waves. It's still going to surge. And I love this music so much. It's the only thing I can do. So I'm glad it's coming back a little bit. There's a bit of a uptick, which is awesome.
Now you did mention the playlist and how the playlist really helped you guys land with Revival, but you know, you got these new singles that are out on Revival, and Embrace has made it onto some of these big playlists, and you know that song's already at, you know, over 50,000 streams, and you know it's blowing up for you guys. So you know, I guess let's talk about the importance of these playlists, and how did you guys get onto these playlists, or was it just pure luck that you guys got on them?
I think it's time. So when you go to upload a single, you can't do it like a couple weeks before you want to release it. You need to give it enough time for like these curated playlists to kind of hear your music and the algorithm to pick it up. And so we ended up like, I mean, obviously the label's doing it for us now, but they submit our music probably 6 weeks in advance, something crazy. Like, I don't know 100% their formula, but when we did it beforehand, we were doing it like 4 weeks before we'd submit the song. I think you just need to have time because there's a lot of music getting released. So you need to give more time for it to get a chance to be in front of people and hear it. But that's honestly all we were doing, is submitting it properly with enough time and hope for the best, to be honest. And I think at that time, I'm not sure, I think the label was telling us about how Spotify's algorithm has changed in the last year or so. And I don't understand the technical side of it, but it was a little bit easier to get on the playlists back then, and it's a little bit harder now. But when we lucked out with Laugh, I think from there, like Laugh and Dirty Talk are still on this Crash Course playlist, which is I think 280,000 followers, something crazy like that. But we've been on it since 2018. Like I don't know why, but back then apparently when you got on something, they would just pick you up. They liked you enough and kept going. So that was, I don't know if it was luck, but it was also a little bit of preparation and making sure you're doing it with enough time to set yourself up. So
hell yeah. Well,
but
congrats on getting on those. And I know that they really can do a lot for bands. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, it's just something that's out there for your fans to see. And sometimes, you know, when you're trying to discover a new band and you're like, oh, this band only gets 200 monthly listeners, like sometimes people don't have the attention span to actually dive in and really give that band a chance. And they look at those numbers, where old souls like myself, I'll listen to a band that gets 12 monthly streams, you know, if they're submitted to us, and I give everyone a chance, because really at the end of the day, all it comes down to is someone got lucky and someone didn't. Like it's kind of the name of the game. So it's definitely an interesting kind of topic that comes up with these playlists, but it's awesome to see that you guys have landed on them and your monthly streams are just on the rise, which is sweet.
Yeah, it definitely sucks when like that, like Forrester is one of my favorite bands of all time, and it's the same thing. Like I feel like they should be the biggest band in the world, and I don't care what their monthly listeners are. I'm gonna listen to those guys every day, right? And there's so many there's more bands out there like that than there are bands lucking out. It's a weird situation, and I don't know why we lucked out. I'm happy for ourselves and like glad it happened, but I really wish like there's some way we could get other people to and help to luck out, but I don't know how else to do it. But
yeah, I feel like in order for things to change, and it's kind of current events right now with what's going on with Joe Rogan and Spotify and Neil Young and whatnot. You know, it's kind of just opening up your, you know, band's eyes to how shitty it is, the situation with Spotify, and how it really just takes away all your income as a band. And I think there needs to be a platform that is created by the artist that can, you know, really benefit everyone that's involved. And I'm sure a lot of music lovers would be more than happy as long as it's still as accessible as Spotify, because, you know, at the end of the day, I love that. I love that fact that I can pay my monthly fee to Spotify Premium and listen to whatever I want. Like,
whenever you want.
Whenever I want. So
and it's such a good sorry.
No, yeah, I just think that there needs to be maybe a little competition that artists created that just gives a little bit of more of the pie to the artist.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, like Spotify is so good for marketing. They have so many small little tools you can use, and it's so handy. But yeah, I do agree, and I wish they did pay out more. Obviously, I really do. We would be able to fund a lot more. But I kind of get a little bit on their side. because like paying out artists with billions of streams, like 1 cent, like they would go bankrupt. Like, you know, there's maybe if like something was competing with Spotify for people who had like a certain amount, like a threshold of monthly listeners, like maybe T Swift isn't on this platform, so it was able to pay like the smaller bands a little bit more. Because I feel like the reason why smaller bands or like up and coming artists can't pay everyone is because of those big artists who are making so many streams every single day. Like, that's a lot of money, right? So I don't understand how it can get fixed. I wish it could, though. I just don't know how they could do it without going bankrupt either. I feel like they can give a little more, though. 100%. What is it? 0.00473 or something like that.
Even if they just changed, you know, their percentages.
Yeah.
It's not just an all even playing field.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, if you're getting over 1 billion streams or whatever some of those like massive names are getting, like you get capped off at a certain amount.
Yeah, it's like a tax bracket kind of idea.
Yeah.
Like if you make more money, like we tax you more kind of idea. Yeah, that would be interesting. I doubt those artists would like that though. So it's like there's probably ways to do it, and I feel like they're not trying very hard to do it, and that's the thing that's upsetting people. Yeah, it upsets me as well. So, but
touche. Yeah. Well, before we get into some hockey talk, I just need to ask, like, Nicolas Rage, where'd the name come from? Are you just huge Nicolas Cage fans, or what's up with that?
I knew this was coming.
I just have to ask.
Oh, yeah, the story is like a little not PG, but it's a story for sure. So, so we've had our fair share of party life. Like we're outgrowing it. We're not the party animals we used to. We used to go on tour and bands would like meet us being like, we prepared to tour with you. Like we've been drinking every day in the States. It's like, and yeah, it's like, that was kind of who we were. We would have fun, you know, live life like it's your last day. But when it was me, a guy named Ray, and Bernard and Tim Wilson met at music school, I think when we decided to be a band, we went to the Story So Far. Like it came to Edmonton and we all went there. And a lot of us, it was like our first time dropping acid. I don't know if I can say that on here. Am I allowed to
have at it?
Talk about drugs on here. Anyway, it was the first time we were kind of doing a band bonding moment. It was our favorite band in the city, and we were having fun. Somehow the night went on to like us just picking up. Do you watch South Park at all?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, there's like an episode where they did like these movie trailers, and like they would have like a DJ scratch, and it'd be like, this fall, Rob Schneider is a carrot, and it would just like, they kept doing weird movie trailers and stuff in that episode. So for some reason we were all kind of having fun, and we kept picking up items and be like, this fall, this lamp is a carrot. Like it was ridiculous, just didn't make sense. And then out of nowhere I picked up this massive pine cone. It was like huge, and everyone thought it was amazing how big this pine cone was. And I messed up the words, and we somehow switched from Rob Schneider to Nicolas Cage, and I accidentally said Nicolas Rage is a pine cone, and it was one of those moments, not funny when I talk about it, but in the moment, funniest thing you've ever heard in your life. And we all just laughed, and then they're like, that has to be our band name, Nicolas Rage, and we were just joking all night about it. And then the next morning we all woke up just feeling like crap, and we're like, did we get a band name last night? We're like, I think we have to be Nicolas Rage after that whole bonding experience. Like it was one of those nights where you just became so close with your brothers, and yeah, drugs basically is what gave us our name. But,
so now that you guys are like a signed band and a legit band, or you're like, shit, I regret making our name Nicolas Rage?
At first we thought about that. We're like, we can't be Nicolas Rage. Like that sounds like, and so many bands we play with, they're like, I thought you guys were a joke band, but then I heard your music. I was like, no, it's not a joke song, right? It's good. And then I don't know. I think I ended up liking it because a lot of podcasts started picking us up and throwing our music on because they saw the name. You know, and then we start realizing, okay, the name has some sort of shock factor to it. People see that, like, I have to click on that. I have to see what that sounds like. And then when you click on it and it's not just like something funny or stupid, it's actually music. It's kind of like this weird feeling. So it just stuck. And obviously the label hasn't even mentioned it. Like they didn't care at all. And actually when they do a lot of our PR work, when we release something, I think our project manager who's helping us release it, Jenny Reeder, she ends up like posting, like she tries to put as many Nicolas Cage movie titles in the like description of the song, and she's like, all right,
I love that.
yeah, $10 for like who can ever point out as many films as you can find. I think the last one for Embrace, it was like there's like 10. I found 10. Like, that's insane. So there's things about it that's so unique, and you know, it was at first a little weird, and we were like, this is kind of dumb, but I can't picture it anywhere else now. So hopefully people find that too. You might be a little off put by it at first, but then eventually it just grows on you.
So what do you think the chances are that Nicolas Cage like accidentally like Googled himself or something and like Nicolas Rage showed up? Like, do you think that that's happened?
I really hope so. And if it did, he obviously hated it because he hasn't talked to us.
He's got to be on Cameo, right?
Yeah.
Like, you should definitely have him do a cameo.
Oh my goodness. That would actually, I'll check it out. I'll see if he is. But
he's probably dirt cheap at this point, right? Like the National Treasure movies came out so long ago. He's probably like $25 on Cameo.
I'll see if he's on there, and we'll try to get him too. That'd be a great piece of content. But I'm hoping one day, like sometimes people will just be like, I'm tweeting Nicolas Cage for you. And like they do it and you're like, okay. Sometimes I think I threw out a tweet like a year or so ago. I was like, Nicolas Cage, can we be your son? And it's just like dumb things. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll make a big enough splash in the world, or he'll reach out, and that'd be freaking awesome. That'd be hilarious.
So does he have a Twitter page?
I don't think, maybe he doesn't. I think he doesn't have a Twitter page. I tweeted out to like, it was a fan page, and I thought it was actually his page. Now that you're saying it, I realize he doesn't have a Twitter page, I don't think.
Yeah, because you get probably a ton of traffic because, you know, how many people pay attention to who they're tagging? Like sometimes you just, even when I'm intentionally trying to tag the right person, sometimes I tag the wrong person.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many, you know, similar usernames. Like if he did have one, you guys probably would get tagged all the time accidentally.
It's actually
just angry people that just hate Nicolas Cage movies.
It's honestly like on purpose. We did it completely on purpose. That's what we were trying to do. Just hop on his fame, you know. No, hey. That guy though, I watch, like, I love watching Nicolas Cage movies because I can't. My parents hate it when I watch movies with them. We always end up watching Nicolas Cage movies, or like girlfriend, like all that. They every time he talks, I laugh. I can't not laugh. Like everything he says, I just die. I don't know why. It's a serious moment, and I'll be laughing because it's Nicolas Cage.
Because his delivery is so weird. Yeah. Like the way he delivers his lines is just bizarre.
Oh, he's so weird.
I think that's what kind of makes it, especially in the National Treasure movies, where I love those movies. I wish that they would just make them every year, a new one, because they're just like, they're so bad but so great at the same time. I'm a fan of them.
Yeah, if we ever get big enough and I get to meet Nicolas Cage, I will be like, hey, my friend Mikey, like, could you just do this for him like every year?
I'm sure I'm not alone in thinking that. I'm sure that there's a lot of people whose favorite movies those National Treasure movies.
I can't remember. There's one that came out on Netflix, and it was like about like this alien thing that like started growing in like the world. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember. I know there's a Mandy movie that came out, but it was around the same time. But it was something about aliens. But for some reason, Nicolas Cage just kept obsessing over these like alpacas that he just bought because he was like farmer. And like the world is literally like turning into all this crazy shit around him, like morphing and like fusing together from some alien like virus. And he's just like, my alpacas. And like the entire movie, like, Dad, stop worrying about the alpacas. He's like, do you have any idea how expensive those alpacas are? And you're like, what is going on in his head? Like, it can't be in the script. Like, I feel like he's just like obsessing over this weird thing and he doesn't know what else to say, but it's genius. It's amazing. And it makes the movie plot just like pointless because you just care about what Nicolas Cage cares about. It's the funniest shit, but interesting man.
Yeah. And you guys are named after him. So yeah, makes you guys, I guess, interesting as well.
We're very strange people. It's great.
Cool, Matt. So before we talk a little hockey, I do have to just tell you about our sponsors. So we have linked up with DraftKings, and the moment we've been waiting for since September is finally here. In honor of the big game, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56, is giving new customers 56 to 1 odds on either team. Bet just $5 and get 280 in free bets if your team wins. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in New York, meaning you can bet from almost a third of the country. If Sportsbook isn't yet in your state, play DraftKings Daily Fantasy Football Contest for Super Bowl 56. New customers can get a free shot at $1 million in total prize with their first deposit. Download your DraftKings Sportsbook app now, use promo code THPN, and get 56 to 1 odds on either team. Bet just $5 and get 280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56. Must be 21 and older. Minimum age and location requirements vary by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full list of requirements and state-specific responsible gaming resources. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Tennessee, call or text TN Redline 1-800-889-9789. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Whew.
You're good at that.
Where is Tom when I need him? Tom, you are missed.
God.
But we got it done. So
I ran out of breath. Like
I'm out of breath.
I'm impressed. I'm so impressed. I would have messed up at least 18 words. Like,
so do you have any interest in the Super Bowl just before we talk hockey?
I never watched football. I played football. I love playing it. I like to hit people, but I play hockey mostly. I've been a huge hockey fan my whole life because my father is. So we watch the Habs together. Nice French Canadian family.
And that's why we're here. We're going to talk hockey, but I do want to just point out that I watched the least amount of football this year in my entire life, which was maybe a quarter of a Carolina Panthers game, and then that's it. And it's partly because I'm just kind of out of it, but also being a new father, I can't fathom asking my wife to like sit down and watch like 3 hours of a football game. So we'll probably watch the Super Bowl. I know the Bengals are in it, and I know the Rams are in it, so that's kind of cool that we're not watching like Tom Brady or the same teams over and over again. So should be a cool storyline.
I've been hearing the Bengals a lot. I feel like it's like a Cinderella story situation. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, and I'm sure you're just hearing it because Nick from Captains is a Bengals fan.
Well, I think Kevin from Revival as well has posted something about it. Like I just see a few friends. I'm like, yay, football.
All right. Yeah. That was our football quota for the month. So nice. Let's get back to hockey because that's why we're here.
Hockey.
I guess you already hinted at it. You're French Canadian, so your family relocated to Edmonton from the east.
Yeah, we're from St. John, New Brunswick. My father was we're McLeod, so it's like what's that, Irish, Scottish, or something? I don't even know. But my dad was adopted, like he was a foster child with a nice French Canadian family, and my papa just loved Montreal Canadiens and French Canadian pride and all that. My dad just grew up watching hockey with him, and then I grew up watching hockey with him, and I played hockey still to this day. So hockey's just always been a part of our family. We collect hockey cards too. Like we're huge hockey card collectors right now. We just got into it a couple years ago, and I was hunting the Connor McDavid Young Gun card, and I freaking got it. It's like my pride and joy. It sits in my display case. It's awesome.
So wait a second. They're still making hockey cards?
Yeah, it's a huge thing.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Dude, Connor McDavid's hockey card. So his Young Gun, this is like, so they release a Series 1, Series 2 every year of like the rookies and stuff like that. And it's like one of the cheapest boxes you can buy. And yeah, Connor McDavid's Young Gun raw, so not graded, graded makes it more valuable because it's the condition sets in stone. But Connor McDavid's Young Gun Raw is going for somewhere like $1,200 to $1,500 just for a piece of card. And if you get like his Cup RPA, so that's a rookie patch auto, so a jersey piece, and it's his rookie card and it's autographed. I think that thing goes for like $20K or something like that. Someone actually pulled one and they're numbered to 99. So only 99 are made. So someone pulled one that was 97 out of 99. So that's the only one ever. So it makes it more valuable. I think that one sold like for $125,000 or something like that. Like there's huge money in the card game. Even in my collection's like maybe 10K, something like that, worth of cards, something like that. It's crazy. And mine's like a baby collection. Like I don't have that much, but it's crazy. It's crazy.
So I watched a documentary on this where there was actually a kid in Canada, and surprisingly, like he was also the voice of one of the characters on the Magic School Bus.
Amazing.
And he like his dad was a big name in like Toronto in the card world, and he had this massive baseball card collection.
Mm-hmm.
And he like at the peak of like the mid to late 90s when it was very, very popular, like baseball cards and trade, like there were shows that you could go to like at arenas, and his collection was like valued for I don't know the exact amount, but like a good chunk of change. But now in the year 2020 or whatever, when this documentary came out, it was worth like nothing. So he was actually just like had a bonfire and was just lighting all his cards with his family, and like this is just worth nothing.
That's crazy.
So when you mentioned that there's a hockey card resurgence, that blew my mind. I had no idea that they even still made them.
Dude, like the pandemic, I don't know what it was. People being bored, stuck at home. A lot of new like collectors got involved, and like I was one of them. But there's some you start to learn more and more, and it's like a stock market, but with hockey cards, basically.
But like, do they still make like the Beckett? Because that was what we used to have as we were kids. Like when we were trading hockey cards or whatever, we would have to have our Beckett. Like, oh no, this card's going up. Like,
they do use Beckett for like value and card values and stuff like that. And then Beckett, you can use to see how many 10s there are in the world, like how many 9s there are in the world and stuff like that. But the main thing is Upper Deck. Upper Deck is like the biggest supplier, and they just do most other things. And then there's like, the regular like 200 something set card collection, which is like series 1 and 2, and then they have like their pristine boxes, which is like the Cup and Black Diamond and all these crazy other like different designs on the cards. But it's like something you can get obsessed with really quick, and there's a big community of them. There's still like hockey card you're saying like they would fill arenas with, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like a trade show.
Trade shows. Like there's still like they have them like once or twice a year. There's National Hockey Card Day where things are cheaper, because it's not cheap, and I think that's where the value comes from. Like even just buying Connor McDavid's rookie year. So if you buy the box with Connor McDavid's rookie year, I think it's like going for something like $1,500 just for the box, and you're not even guaranteed to get the freaking card.
So I'm guessing you have to get them online though, because all the card and comic book stores that I remember in my like childhood town have shut down. So like they don't exist anymore.
Oh no, there's still in Edmonton, especially. I don't know what it's like there, but in Edmonton we have probably 4 or 5 like card shops, and we have like a mom and pop one that's like super small. Like I know the dudes by name, like we talk when I go in. And then they have bigger ones called Wayne Sports Cards, named after Wayne Gretzky, I think. And that one's like more of like the Walmart of like sports card places, but you have like a lot more options and stuff, and you got like a lot more years. Some years are hard to get now, right? And people, they seek it, right? So it's really fun though. There's nothing like pulling like a really rare card. It just feels insane.
I gotta ask my mom now if she still has my hockey card collection. I'll just send it to you.
Send it to me, I'll let you know. A lot of it is like not worth anything. Like you gotta know what you're looking for. A lot of base cards, they're like 50 cents. Like some of them are 99 cents, but most cards aren't worth much. But when you get like an authentic rookie card of like a Hall of Famer or a great, like there's going to be value.
I definitely had a Yager rookie card. I know for a fact I did.
That's crazy. Like, and depending on the condition it's in, like that can be worth quite a bit, like a decent amount, a good chunk.
All
Yeah,
right.
like there's some Wayne Gretzky cards that go for. I think Wayne Gretzky's rookie card, what was it, like $500,000 it sold for, something
Yeah, I
like that.
definitely didn't have that. I might have had a Mario Lemieux and a Yager rookie
Yeah,
card. I didn't have a Gretzky one.
yeah. I would look through them. It's always cool to. That was what sparked me when I found out there's value in this. My grandfather's been collecting hockey cards for me his whole life, and like I never had interest. And then I was like, wait, I can make money. Like this is kind of an investment. And then I went through like the hundreds of cards, and he didn't know what he was looking for, so a lot of them weren't valuable. So I ended up just like starting from there, and like I'm gonna have something to pass on if I have kids. And it's something me and my father do together. My dad loves it. Like he goes and breaks and stuff. Where it's like you pay for a team, and then you get like they open up boxes and say he pays for Montreal Canadiens. He gets all the Montreal Canadian cards from the break that they do.
Oh,
So like he'll call me and be like, "I got a sick Patrick Waugh card today," and it's like, "Yeah, that's awesome." So
hey,
good
that's cool.
bonding.
And at the end of the day, it's that bonding you're having with your dad over
Yeah.
that. So that's cool.
No, it's awesome. And the older you get, you just become best friends with your parents. It's insane. But that's one of the things we could talk about for hours. I like talking to my dad for hours, so it's good.
Cool, man. So let's talk Canadians other than trading cards. So your team and my team are kind of like mirror images of themselves. So I'm a New York Islander fan, and last year we made it to the Eastern Conference Final for the second time in a row. You guys made it to the Stanley Cup Final. We thought maybe this year would be a promising year, but both of our teams not looking like it so far. So what are your thoughts on this season, and do you think it's time to start selling any pieces that you have, or what are your thoughts?
Oh man, I mean that run, I fully did not expect it, and every time they won, I was like sick. Like I was like, hey, the next round, no way. There's absolutely no way they're beating, and then I was like, okay, Vegas, there's no way they're beating Vegas, and I was like, they beat Vegas, and it finally came to a stop, and a lot of that had to do with Carey Price being unreal, the leadership in the room. Like I think a lot of the guys rallied it because like they knew Shea Weber was out the door, his foot injury, and he was just done. So he's like, this is the last chance for a lot of the guys on the team. So they just kept playing for each other, and it was a Cinderella story, man. And I loved every minute of it. They didn't win. I wasn't even mad. I was like, I am so proud of that team because they had no freaking business being there. But yeah, this year they're missing a lot of key pieces, and they missed a lot of pieces that just returned, like Toffoli and Josh Anderson. Nick Suzuki's kind of, and then Caulfield too. Like they dropped Caulfield down. But I think it's the right choice considering like he's going to put the weight of the team on his shoulders, and if they're losing, that's going to feel pretty terrible as a young player coming into the NHL. So I get that. Nick Suzuki's still amazing. I don't care if he's having not the greatest season. He's still leading the team in points, I think, right now. But he'll flourish once you build a team around him. I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest, because I thought for sure Carey Price, like he was going to ask for a trade, just kind of release some cap space, like go to a team where they can contend and give Carey Price a chance. And he came out and said, I'm a Montreal Canadian, and that's how it's going to stay. I have no plans to go anywhere. And I'm like, Price, just go to the Avalanche. Like, go somewhere. Like, I love Cale Makar. Like, oh my God, he's so cool. Like, I want Nathan McKinnon, like, to see Pricey on that team. Like, I don't care what anyone says about Pricey. That guy is a stud. And, he's been playing well with a mediocre team in front of him for years, and he still has the reputation he has. Imagine him on, like, a team like Colorado, and I think he would do really well.
Well,
definitely a chance.
You could probably have him in your backyard. Edmonton needs a goalie worse than anyone.
That was another thing. It was Avalanche, Edmonton. I heard rumors, but it's just like, man, Edmonton needs a goalie so much. But like Price was at 10 million, 10.5. Montreal would have to hold at least half, and then I don't know.
Well, who cares at this point?
Yeah, it seems logical, but like I can't see it happening. I don't know if Edmonton's going to do that. They just got Kane. It could be a thing, but I don't know if they're going to spend 5 mil, 5.5 mil, or 5 mil, whatever it would be, on a goalie who's 36. Right now, I just can't see it. but I want it to happen. I know that Price is a really good like risk to take, but I feel like management in any NHL team knows that. But I feel like fans are just like, no, he sucks. He's washed up. It's like, but he's not. I swear. Did you watch him in the playoffs? Like insane, and he had a knee injury, and he was like insane, man. Like the things he does, I'm like, so cool. But I don't know what's gonna happen. I would love to see him in Edmonton because I have a Carey Price Young Gun card too, so I can get that signed.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I guess let's just talk some memories being a hockey fan. What was your like pinnacle moment being a hockey fan? Like what is the coolest thing you've experienced either at a live game or watching on TV? Like what's your moment?
Oh, there's so I think
I know that's tough because
there's so many.
There's so many for me.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why we are hockey fans. It's like any given night, like something amazing happens. Like I think there's a couple 2014-15 season, Carey Price won every single fucking award. And like he was the best goalie in the world, and like just watching him play and like do the impossible game in, game out. I think that year with my dad, like how excited we were. We thought we were like, we're gonna win the cup this year. Yeah, good team, solid team. Carey Price is at the peak. We got to the Eastern Conference Finals, and Chris Kreider took out his knee, and you could just feel the team wasn't the same after. Like that's their star, It sucks, and any fan would be like, we would have won the cup that year, but we'll never know. We were robbed of it. But that year was one of my favorite years to watch hockey. I put my jersey on every game. Like I skipped things. Like I was like, I'm not going to hang out with you guys tonight, guy. Like some of my friends or something is like, I'm watching hockey with my dad. Like one of the best years to watch hockey for me. And I think the run was one of my favorite memories too. Like last year playoff run. Because my family's in New Brunswick now, so I'm in Edmonton alone. So I got to basically like we call each other between periods and just talk, and like it was another reason for us to stay close, even though we're far apart. And you miss your family a lot when I have lived with them for the majority of my life. So this is recent that they're apart. So that run plus him being away, it was kind of this like special moment where like, are you witnessing this too? Or like you're on the other side of the world, this is happening for you too, right? But that was a really special memory watching that. And then I guess a third one would be when Connor McDavid in his rookie season, he broke his collarbone, I think it was. And he comes back against Columbus Blue Jackets. And I don't know if you've seen that goal, but he basically just like toe drags and goes through like three people, dekes the crap out of Bobrovsky and scores. And it's just like the energy in the building is probably like the coolest feeling in the world. And I don't know how to explain it, but like just to hear the announcers too and the replays, I still get chills when I watch. They're like, "Oh my Connor McDavid, welcome back!" Right? Like
I feel like he just described every Connor McDavid goal though. So I'm
much.
like, which one is he really talking about? Because it sounds like every goal I've ever seen him score.
This one was like a really special one because like it was his rookie season halfway through, and he like breaks his collarbone. It's like, man, this guy was so good. Like everyone just started getting a taste of him, and he was out for a while, and he comes back and literally just like undresses an entire team and scores. And that was like one of the first times I think he's done that. And then everyone was like, what just happened? And like the crowd was just like, you could hear it just ha ha ha, and it's such a cool moment. And like you said, there's so many Connor McDavid highlights that like I'll sit up at night and be like, I want to feel happy. I'm gonna watch Connor McDavid highlights. Just it's insane. It doesn't make sense. The guy's a cheat code. It's cool.
So do you feel yourself rooting a little bit for Edmonton just because you have that superstar in your backyard?
Yeah. Edmonton's like one of the teams I watch I look at the highlights every night. Like they're same with Minnesota. I love Kaprizov. So cool. He's and same with Zegras. So I watch a lot of Duck highlights. I just love watching the young talent, right? But Connor McDavid. I'm a Connor McDavid fan more than an Oilers fan. I'm a little sad that they're not just like building the best team in the world. Like they like it upsets me when they go on 10-game losing streaks. It's like, why is this happening? But it is hockey. It's a hard freaking game. People can complain all they want, but at the end of the day, it's a team sport, and mentally, it's just as mental as it is physical. And if something's going on, it's hard to win. And other teams in the NHL, you're playing the best freaking players in the world every night. even the worst team in the NHL is a really good freaking hockey team. So it's going to happen. But I really just want Edmonton to be so dominant. I want to see Connor get a cup. I want to be in the city when the Edmonton Oilers have a cup. Like, I want to know what that's like. I have never been there before. So
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have had like World Junior Championships and things like that in Edmonton. So I'm sure you've had some wild celebrations, and obviously you probably weren't born when the Oilers did win the cups.
No.
Like you seem like you might have been not even conceived yet at that point.
No, I was 91. So
yeah, so you missed those cups as well. So
yeah, and I wasn't living here on that cup run. I think, what was it, 2006? I think they went to the finals against Carolina. Was it? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I wasn't in the city when that was happening either. So no, it was 2008 is when I moved here. I'm pretty sure. So I was a couple of years late after that. So, but I remember when I was moving here from St. John, like one of the first things I thought, I was like, oh, we're going to a city with an NHL team. That is cool. And I get here and like everyone's so mean about their team because they're like, they were just in the finals to like, you know, what Montreal is going through right now. So it's like, wow, this sucks. But
so do you get to a lot of games at Rogers Arena?
I've been to a couple. My I have like really one of my childhood best friends who's also from New Brunswick, but he's pretty wealthy, so he has like season box tickets in these like luxury like bottle service areas, and you see the ice like it's like on TV, like broadcast view in the middle of the ice. So that's cool. Every once in a while he'll be like, hey, you want to come? And I'm like, yes.
Yes, I'll cancel anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, guys, band practice ain't coming. I'm gonna go watch Connor McDavid. But every time I go, Connor McDavid doesn't score. So I haven't really got to see like one of those moments in person, you know. That's something I'm craving. I want to be there when he does something crazy. I think there's that Morgan Riley goal too. Do you remember this one against Toronto?
Dude, I'm so bad at even remembering like the game I watched last night. I'm kind of like just in the moment.
Yeah.
And then like sometimes I'm like, I don't even know who scored in the games that I've been to. I'm a weird fan. It's hard to explain.
That's fair. No, man, like, and there's such a spectrum of like why you love hockey. Why do you love watching it? And for me, it's like I played hockey my whole life. So when I see someone do something that I'm like, that is impossible to do. How the frig did you do that? Right. I get obsessed and I watch it over and over again. I analyze it. Like I love that side of hockey. But yeah, I recommend if you want to watch something crazy, you've seen it before for sure. It's just put Connor McDavid versus Morgan Riley, and he just pretends to look away. Then he just turns it on and like makes Morgan Riley trip, goes in and just top corner. And the same thing, crowd atmosphere on that goal was that like, right? Anytime he does that, I just get so excited because that guy just rules the world in hockey. It's cool.
It's also so weird because I'm on the East Coast. Like, it's so hard to watch West Coast hockey. It's so late. And like, even when I was younger, and obviously hockey was way less accessible than it is now. Like, I didn't watch that many Wayne Gretzky games until he came to the Rangers. Like, I knew that he was the player, and like, you know, hockey cards were popular and video games were popular. So like, you knew like stat wise, like, yeah, this guy's legit. But I didn't like, I was kind of poor, so I didn't have ESPN. So I wasn't watching like highlight shows. So like, I didn't really get to watch that many Wayne Gretzky games. Like, I watched Mario Lemieux. Like, that's who I got to watch. Like, I saw him play the Islanders at least like 5 times.
You know, Mario Lemieux is it's Connor McDavid of the 90s, you know, like, yeah, pretty much. So
I feel like, you know, I'm kind of robbed of that right now. Like, I don't watch that many games with McDavid. I don't get to watch Zegras. Like, it's kind of what stinks when you live on the East Coast and you want to watch like those West Coast games where it's probably pretty sweet being on the West Coast where you can be like, oh,
it's a normal time.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm gonna watch a hockey game at dinner, and then I'm gonna watch a hockey game after I take my shower, and then I'll watch a hocky game in bed. Like,
yeah, it's awesome.
That's pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet, actually. I'm not gonna lie. That's funny. I was gonna say something, I can't remember. Dang it. It's gone. I hate when that happens.
It's all good, man. So I guess, right now, current in hockey, they're on their all-star break. Actually, as we're recording this, there's the skills competition. So
I almost canceled so I could watch that.
that would make me very sad if someone canceled an interview to
Oh
watch
my
the
God.
skills competition of the All-Star.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Bar down breakdown's not that important. We're done. We just got canceled because of the All-Star game skills competition.
I would have argued like it would have flipped, like hockey and punk music. It's like, oh, dude, this guy likes hockey. Like, I get it. No, I definitely would not have canceled to watch. Like maybe like a playoff game, but not an all-star game. I want to watch it though. I actually don't know. I don't have access to watching some things free right now, so I don't know where to find it. So I'm gonna try to look for that after this. See if I can find where they're at.
But I did hear that some people were like saying that it was exclusively on ESPN and not ESPN Plus, like it was advertised.
I
don't know.
Don't like what they're doing. They're kind of being weird during the pandemic a little bit because there wasn't games in person a lot. I get they have to make some money, but it's like, don't you have a lot of money already? Why are you making it harder for people who can't go enjoy the games to watch it? And I think they made it so there's like zone restrictions. My dad was really upset because he paid for like a hockey channel and he was missing half the Montreal Canadian games and he had to go to like the French channel he had and watch games in French. He doesn't speak French. So it's just like, but for some reason there's these zone blackouts and you wouldn't get half of the games that night. And I don't know what I feel like the reason behind it is because, they're losing money. So they're trying to enforce people to pay more money for like a bigger package that gets like all of the, zones and be able to watch all of the games. So you have to pay a little extra, but it's like, I'm already paying money to watch hockey. Why do I have to pay more money? It was upsetting, and I feel like they're still kind of doing that. So it might be hard to find right now, but hopefully I can find it. That's my goal after this. I'm going to see if I can find it and see if I can have a chill Friday night and watch some hockey skills competition. I want to see Zegras. I want to see how he does in it. That guy's crazy.
Yeah, it's as an Islander fan, we only have one all-star, and it's Adam Pelech, who is like a stay-at-home defenseman. So it's like this isn't going to be very exciting to watch. But
Barzal didn't get in this year?
No. He's not having the greatest year.
No, but he's still so good. Like
he's so good, but the team's just underperforming, and
it's hard mentally, right? He's probably
yeah. So I'm not too excited to watch our stay-at-home defenseman in the All-Star game, so I probably won't watch it.
Fair enough. I kind of I go to watch if there's new talent. Like I like to watch McDavid at anything he does. Obviously, Zegras is proving time and time again that he is ridiculously good. I don't know if you caught it, but he did a Michigan goal actually against Montreal. Like just scooped it so smooth up top corner of the net, from behind the net. I was like nothing. It looked like nothing. You know how hard it is to get a puck on your stick just standing still? It's so hard to do that at an NHL pace with pressure on you and make it look like it's something you've done every single day of your life. That's crazy.
Well, insane. I think that's why the Ducks are kind of surprising people right now is having young talent like that.
Yeah, young and exciting. It gets everyone going. So,
and one final hockey current event question I have for you is, do you plan on watching any of the Olympics that are starting, I think, tonight? Or maybe they even started last night?
Nah.
No?
I'll probably watch it because I'm Canadian. And I love hockey, but it's just not the same without the NHL players, right? The NHL players aren't going. So it's like, that's the best part is like we could have saw McDavid and Sidney Crosby, and like that lineup was literally foolish. That would have been like easy cup, I think, in my opinion. Hopefully. What was Cale Makar too? Like there's a lot of young guys that they kind of got robbed from their first Olympic experience. And like these guys are like arguably better than a lot of the guys who've been there before at that time, So it would have been super fun to watch. I'm really upset about it.
Yeah, it's also kind of interesting though, because Canada, you got one of the Stahl brothers. He's going to be the captain, which that's kind of cool to see, like kind of came out of retirement, or maybe he's still playing over in Europe. I'm not too sure. So like seeing him Also, former Islander Josh Hosang is on the team.
Ooh, I
Like,
didn't know that.
I might tune in to watch him. And then Ray Ferraro's son is on Team Canada, which is kind of cool.
It is kind of. It kind of. Have you seen the movie Miracle?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's like the best hockey movie ever. It's kind of like that kind of situation where it's like just a ragtag team kind of brought together. So maybe I'll check it out. I think I just stopped once I heard they weren't going. I was super disappointed. I think I just like shunned it. Like I don't want to think about that. So, just disappointed. I'm not going to get to see two of the best players that have ever play together. That would have been cool, but. I didn't know one of the Stahl brothers were coming to play, and Josh Hosang is super good. I wish he got more of a chance. He's on Toronto now, right? I think.
Yeah. But he's really like on the Marlies.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he's like you got to give him a chance. He's good. Like the few times I've watched him play, like he's got good edge work, really good hands, good shot. Like he makes things happen every time I've seen him play, and I don't watch him play that often. Maybe as a Islanders fan, like you might have seen him more. Is he as good as I think he is?
Yeah, he had like some training camp issues where he showed up like late to a few practices, and ever since then they kind of just wrote him off. And he was exciting. I think that if he was given a chance, especially if they would have maybe like threw Montevares' wing, he could have been like a household name. Because he did. He was creative. He had good edge work. He really was a playmaking forward. So I'm gonna probably tune into a few Canadian Team Canada games to see how Hosang does, and maybe he makes a name for himself and gets back into the NHL.
That's like a reason enough to watch, because just to see it, like an athlete at that caliber getting a chance, like they can either go one or the other way. Either they don't live up to it, or they go like far and beyond what you expect of them, and suddenly Josh Hosang is like on the first line in the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, dude, what's so funny is I think back to it must have been the 2010 Olympics when Matt Zuccarello went off for Team Norway. Like he was like, I think there was one game where Norway almost upset Canada, and he was just like flying all over the ice, and he wasn't even in the NHL at that point.
Now look at him,
and yeah, like look at the career he had with the Rangers, and now he has with the Wild. Like,
yeah, he's one of the best guys. He's top 2 in scoring for sure. Wild, him and Kaprizov are lighting it up. That's crazy. Like,
and it really happened with the Olympics. So
yeah,
you never know. Could happen.
That'd be really cool. I've been a fan of Josh Hosang since I've seen him play, and now it's like, why am I not seeing more of him? So like, yeah, it would be definitely super cool to watch the Olympics and see if he actually makes a name for himself because of that.
Hell yeah. Well, Jeremy, dude, it really has been a blast just talking hockey cards and hockey and all things.
I ramble a lot.
No, dude, it's been a blast. So before I let you go, I guess plug away. I know we've talked about it a few times on the episode, but personal parties coming out in a couple of weeks. So let the people know where to find it. Let them know about the pre-orders, and we'll let you go enjoy your Friday night.
Awesome. We're Nicolas Rage Noise on Instagram. You can find all of our singles that have been released under our link tree. It's in our bio.
Dude, it just came to me.
Yeah.
Since Nicolas Cage doesn't have a Twitter, you guys should just change your Twitter name to Nicolas Cage.
Dude, that's so smart, actually. And then we'll pretend to be him.
But we're in a band. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, and here's my new Spotify single. And people are like, wait, Nicolas Cage has music? Like,
dude, just use it as like a ploy. I love it. I will take any edge in the world we live in now.
Yeah, dude, look at that one band that like stole the website for the When We Were Young festival. I think it's I Set My Friends on Fire.
Oh my god.
They stole that website, and now they've blown up because of it. They're selling out shows, and like, yes, they have great music, and this is what I talk about all the time. Like, there's so many bands that have great music, but sometimes it's like just that one little like gimmick or something that gets you that gets the attention that it deserves, and actually the festival reached out to them and was like, hey, like we can't ignore like all the social media attention you guys have created. If you want to play, like we got a slot for you. And they actually turned it down. They were like, nope, we're gonna go play the parking lot instead.
That's
just like social media geniuses. But sorry, keep plugging away.
That's hilarious. I'm so happy I know about that. I don't even care about plugging my band out. That's so funny because like they literally stole this like website from them.
Yeah,
they were like, okay, impressive, play for us, and they're like, fuck you.
It's awesome.
What was the name of that band again?
I Set My Friends on Fire.
I Set My Friends on Fire. I am checking them out just because of that story. You know, like that's genius. But yeah, maybe one day our Twitter account's going to be just, it's the real Nicolas Cage.
There you go.
You guys heard it here, whoever's watching. It's the real Nicolas Cage. You'll find Nicolas Cage's band. And we're actually pretty good. We're pretty good. But yeah, we're releasing Personal Party March 11th. You can pre-order in all of our socials. Just go check our link tree. You're going to be able to find where you can pre-order. We have a really cool shirt design, really cool crew neck. And we have our EP on sale for pre-order as well. And we are going to be doing a contest here eventually too, once it releases, where we're going to get people to just kind of share the music, and you're going to get a special signed copy of the CD plus Nicolas Rage pillow. We haven't talked about it yet. We haven't released it yet, but I'm going to let people know who have been here today that look out for that. So, but thanks everyone who's been watching. Thanks for having me, Mikey. You're an awesome dude. I love talking with you. Hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah, Jeremy, I truly do appreciate it. And I wish that we could have talked better times for our hockey teams, but this season just didn't pan out the way it was supposed to. And that's kind of what hockey is, man. And
yeah,
it's so hard to just like give up as a fan. Like it's hard for me to like lose that, like, we can do it. Like, look at the St. Louis Blues. They did it. But every game that we lose, I'm just like, all right, I think that was it. I think that was the game where we're just
the game where I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah. So
and that's the beautiful thing about hockey. It's that up and down roller coaster, you know?
It is. It is.
One day you hate them. But anyway, sorry.
No, man. Dude, Jeremy, I wish you guys the best. I love Revival. Our really good friends and Out of Time are on there. You got the home team killing it on there. Mm-hmm. You got Front Side, who's awesome. You got We Were Sharks. Like, Revival's about to turn some heads, man. And it's cool that you guys are doing your thing with them. And I'm super excited to see what 2022 has for the label and all the bands on it. So keep killing it. Hopefully the borders open up soon and you guys can make your way down to the States, and we'd love to catch one of your shows.
Yeah, man. Hopefully that happens. And yeah, we're excited the direction Revival's going. Hopefully we can help with that as well. That's the goal, just to keep plugging away, keep making really good music, and hope for the best. Keep working hard.
Amen, brother. Well,
awesome.
Enjoy your Friday night. We'll be in touch. Take care, man.
Peace, Mikey. Thank you.